As you may know, March, it's the Women's International Day, according to the United Nations organization. And I was not going to miss the opportunity to have Carmen Correa as our guest for our March Thresholder Talk session. First of all, Carmen Correa is a dynamic leader with an extensive experience in driving social impact and sustainable development across Latin America. Carmen, it's an integral part of Pro Mujer since 2017. And Carmen will talk to us a little bit about Pro Mujer. She currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer, and under her leadership, she has expanded financial inclusion efforts, provided essential health and well-being services, and offers skill-building opportunities to underserved women. Carmen's career expands over 30 years in operational management, strategic planning, and program execution. In 2023, Carmen was selected by Google.org as one of the 7 leaders to watch. And currently, in 2025, Forbes listed Carmen as one of the 50 global change makers. So it's truly inspiring for you to be here with us. Welcome, Carmen Correa.
Thank you very much, Zaira. Thank you for inviting me to this space. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm so happy as well. Let me just share one tiny little thing. I was introduced to Carmen via Beatriz Ayala. And when Beatriz told me, hey, we would like to have Carmen Correa as one of our guests, I looked for Carmen over LinkedIn and found out that she was in Uruguay. Happened that in December, I traveled to Uruguay and I just reached out and asked her to join me for a coffee, and she did. And now I'm so happy that we can have you here. So Carmen, just to start, could you tell us a little bit about Pro Mujer and your role in the organization?
Yes, of course. Pro Mujer, as you said, it's a social enterprise that has been working for more than 35 years to advance gender equality in Latin America. We provide underserved women with access to financial services, education, and health. And we are one of the main promoters of genderless investing at the regional level, organizing each year what we call the GLI Forum. This is to get together investors, entrepreneurs, social enterprises, foundations, private sector, public sector, and get to see the opportunities you can actually find in Latin America with the potential of investment with that genderless. So this event this year will take place in June from the 10th until the 12th in Mexico City. It will be great if some of you can join us. But this is a very unique space. Last year it took place in Buenos Aires with more than 1,000 participants. We are also one of the promoters in working with other organizations, private, public, small, big organizations that want to incorporate a gender perspective. We support them with technical assistance, with consultancy services in getting to know how they can incorporate a gender perspective in their policies, in their methodologies, in their products, in their services. And we have been working with various organizations in Latin America and beyond Latin America, also with partners that work with us in other regions. Right now, we just launched a new strategy of Pro Mujer where we want to incorporate much more innovation, technology, and we want to keep working with partners to expand our impact, to expand our reach. And in that regard, we are always looking for those organizations that align with our values, that can be working with us in the development of more services, more products, and reaching more women.
Thank you, Carmen. And now that you are mentioning that the organization would like to incorporate more technology and innovation, could you expand a little bit on that? What exactly it is?
Yes, basically, as you know, we were born 35 years ago. 35 years ago, the internet, for example, connectivity was very limited, actually almost non-existence in some countries in Latin America. Right now, for example, digital education is a must. 35 years ago, it wasn't. So today we deliver digital education. We put in place different platforms like Emprende Pro Mujer. Through that platform, we are able to deploy different resources, different tools to women entrepreneurs and actually support them also getting together into a network, getting access to mentorships. We want to keep developing new platforms. We want to keep incorporating more technology, more content into this platform. Right now, we are looking, for example, in incorporating AI into the Emprende platform. That will be and will generate a big change. We are incorporating technology also in our health services department, delivering health services through different tools. Maybe in some cases, very basic tools such as a chatbot. For example, we have deployed already a chatbot on sexual and reproductive health, another one around diabetes, a third one around breast cancer. We want to keep deploying these tools so women get access to the needed health education. We also are incorporating technology in giving access to telehealth consultations. So in some cases could be through a WhatsApp call, but in other cases we have a device, we have a doctor in place, we have a nurse in the ground, and they get connected and they get to actually give the necessary attention to that patient. So we are trying to seek which is the best technology we need to incorporate in. We are also, as an organization internally, trying to adapt ourselves, trying to transform ourselves, trying to navigate this digital transformation inside. And of course, we are looking forward to receive support in that regard too.
Let me just zoom out and talk a little bit about you. So as far as what you have said in the biography, right, the introduction, you have been working with this organization for a couple of years now. So what has inspired you to dedicate your career, part of your career, to this organization and to the social impact that Pro Mujer is definitely driving?
Well, many things. And let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I was born and raised in Uruguay, one of the smallest countries in Latin America. I was raised my first years. I live in a rural area in the department of Colonia. And in my house, and for us and for the family, education and hard work were fundamental values. And this was from a very young age. I understood that effort, perseverance were key to move forward. At the age of 6, my family moved to Montevideo so I could start attending the school. And the whole experience of living in the rural area, moving to Montevideo, allowed me to meet people from different backgrounds and understood various realities. From an early age, I became very, very aware of the barriers and limitations that women basically face in a daily basis. And that reality was the starting point that pushed me to seek change, to transform women's lives wherever I could, especially those in vulnerable situations. So over the time, I realized that those most vulnerable things is basically not offering help, but creating sustainable opportunities. It's not just giving the support at one moment or in one shot. It's giving really the opportunities for those women, those people, take control of their own lives. It is about generating structural changes that enable them to basically access, in our case, education, financing, support them in creating a network, in decision-making spaces. So since then, I have dedicated almost my whole career to design and implement programs that are basically supporting and creating this lasting impact. So at Pro Mujer, this purpose became even stronger because every day we work for and with women at the regional level. But even when I was working and leading Endeavor here in Uruguay, I was supporting entrepreneurs, always trying to find those women entrepreneurs. Working with Avina Foundation also allowed me to be working with entrepreneurs of the base of the pyramid, many of which were women. So before arriving to Pro Mujer, I did have the opportunity to work in these different sectors that basically shaped me into what I am today. And I started my career working at the Organization of the American States, the OAS, here in Uruguay. And then I spent 7 years in Washington working for the IDB. Then I worked for Avina Foundation, for Endeavor. So I kind of shape what I am today, in the sense that I was always working around sustainable development. I was always working and trying to have a very broad work where I could be working at the regional level, getting to know the whole Latin American region. And each experience allowed me to get to know more of the needs that were on the ground. When I returned to my country, I mainly returned because I wanted to be closer to those needs, to getting to know what was needed at the ground. So I started to discover like a passion that basically allowed me to construct and to work for the others and to support others. When we started, I was with two colleagues. I was working with two colleagues when we started Endeavor here in Uruguay. An organization, it's an international, very big foundation that supports high impact entrepreneurs. At a moment where entrepreneurship, the word entrepreneur wasn't there, we needed to explain what an entrepreneur was. We kind of end up constructing and giving shape to the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem. So it was a great experience that deeply impacted me and undoubtedly shaped my next steps. Endeavor was an incredible, inspiring experience where I was able to meet the best in kind entrepreneurs of the world. So that allowed me also to get to know more of the needs of the entrepreneurs, of the needs of getting women more access to networks, giving women more visibility, giving women access to more of that needed funding to develop their own businesses. So the whole, I think that my whole past, my professional path, allowed me to be where I am today. And basically, it was not that when I was 22 years, when I started working at the OAS, I knew where I wanted to reach. But my whole career ended up being constructed around sustainable development and helping others and finding the manners or the ways of supporting different organizations and working with different organizations in achieving a very impactful objective.
One question for you. Could you identify a moment in time that maybe you said, this is what I would like to do, or this is what I feel my mission is? Now that you, at this moment of your career, like you just said that you didn't quite think that this was going to be what you would be doing, right? Like 20x years through time. So at this moment, if you look back, you identify one moment where you maybe thought, this is what I would like to do. This is what I see myself doing.
I think there is one or two specific moments. My first job was at the Organization of the American States, where I started to get to know people coming to Uruguay to work for short period of times, consultants. Many of those were U.S. consultants working with the government here in Uruguay. And when they get to know me, they started, Carmen, you should go abroad. You should have an experience abroad. You should continue your career abroad. And that was one of the first moments that I thought, okay, maybe it's time to leave the country. And I decided I wanted to move abroad. I applied to the IDB. I was able to actually get into the Inter-American Development Bank. And basically, I remember a lot of people around me were telling me, you're crazy. Why are you going to leave the Organization of the American State? I was at a very young age, basically with a very good salary. I was going to be able to actually have a very good career at the Organization of the American States. So I was very questioned by that decision, but I was sure that was what I needed to do. I was convinced. And the other key moment was when I decided to come back. 7 years after I entered the Inter-American Development Bank, I said, I need to go back to my country. I need to be closer to the what's going on at the ground level. It's not working from behind of the desk. And that was also a key moment. Again, a lot of people tell me, you're crazy. You cannot leave the IDB. You have a great career here. You have actually in 7 years, I was able to do a very exponential career in the IDB. And I said, no, I need to go back. I'm feeling I need to go back. And I want to be much closer to my family, but also to the causes I want to be working on. And so those are key moments. And I think the most, those moments that make me trigger a change, and that basically as I was decided to make a change, it worked out very well, but those moments were key.
Thank you. I think that someone in the audience may resonate with what you just said, right? That some of us leave our country, develop our careers, but then maybe at some point we would like to go back to insert ourselves and continue making a positive impact, but from a closer standpoint. So I would like to take a detour here and go more deeper into technology and innovation. So you were saying, or how you see technology playing a role in scaling up Pro Mujer mission or impact. And can you expand a bit?
Yes. In recent decades, the technological revolution has transformed the way we live and basically the way we work. And that is not new. Everybody knows that. Everybody lives that every day. However, there are structural barriers that persist, that basically continuing to limit the development of women in Latin America. What we want to secure from Pro Mujer is that nobody is left behind, because yes, technology keeps developing, keeps moving forward. But the thing is that we cannot state everybody has access to a cellular phone. Yes, most have access to a cellular phone. Not everybody has access to an intelligent phone, or not everybody has connectivity. So that is something that we are very well aware of. And basically at Pro Mujer, we see that technology is not just a tool to expand our impact, but is key and basically is a key ally in the development and breaking certain barriers. But as said, we have to be very well aware that we don't leave anybody behind. We want actually our mission to advance gender equality, and to achieve this, we must adapt to new realities. So we are evolving, we are integrating technology, we are trying to develop new ways of deploying our services. As said, digital education, accessing or giving access to different platforms, deploying different platforms. We want solutions to reach all the women in Latin America. We want to keep expanding Emprende Pro Mujer, the platform that we already deployed. This is an educational platform designed for women entrepreneurs. So, but we have to keep thinking, okay, how we keep advancing with the changing needs of the women entrepreneurs, what we can incorporate in that platform, how we incorporate new technology, new content in that platform. We want to keep providing preventive health services, and for that, technology, as said before, is key, facilitating also access to financial services. We already deployed Pro Mujer Digital. This is a digital tool that is allowing us to giving access to financial services, but we also want to work with fintechs that can actually allow us to reach even more women. So those are the things we look forward, and those are the things that technology and innovation will allow us to play a key role in scaling our services. But on the other side, how we secure that everybody can actually be using this technology, how we can secure that this technology is accessible to everybody. And for you to get to know, for example, in the case of Emprende Pro Mujer, we put in place the platform, but of course, it was not enough, because in certain communities, not that they don't have connectivity, they cannot access the platform. So in those cases, we first of all try to guarantee with a partner the connectivity. So with a partner, we put in that place an antenna and give access to connectivity. Then we started with digital education. Then we started with the access to the platform itself and getting them to know how to use the platform itself. So it's kind of a work in progress, where it's not just the use of the platform or putting in place the platform or the access to the platform, but we end up with a very hybrid program where we go to the community, we give connectivity, we start with very, very basic education, and then, of course, we add on all the other aspects. And that is something that you get to know and to see if you have your foot on the ground. And that is what we are able to, how we are able to adapt our services.
Thank you, Carmen. I see Lina has raised her hand. Lina, please share.
Hola, Carmen.
Hola.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the work that you do. I am very passionate about financial education for women as well. And something that I just came to learn more of as an adult, surprisingly. But I was curious if there is one particular story that you can share where you're the most proud of, that your organization existed because of this story. Because I would presume that in some cases, it changes a generation, right? It breaks a cycle for a family when the woman is financially educated. So anyway, I didn't know if you can humanize it for us with a story of one particular person.
We have thousands of stories. It's difficult to pick just one story because we have incredible stories. The women we support, they have been always very brave because, as I said, these are underserved women. These are women that usually start their own business because there is a huge need. Sometimes it's because they have to bring in an income for the food in their houses. So we have incredible stories. We put together a book. Basically, the publication is She Ventures, Stories of Latin American Women. And this resumes 16 women entrepreneurs from the region, from different countries. And basically, there is one of the stories that resonates the more there. The entrepreneur is Maria Pilar. She is from Colombia. She's one of the stories featured in that book. And basically, Maria del Pilar, 9 years ago, she completely changed her life when she decided to start her own business. And this was with her husband, but she was very questioned about starting her own business. And basically a business where she needed to request for a loan to purchase a very small plot of land where she was going to launch basically her production of eggs. And so she needed to buy some chickens. She needed also to start her all the business from scratch. So she's the leader of the family. She's the one that generates the income, that secures the income for the family. And basically with this business, she was able to teach their children how to actually get up with their dreams. And she was able to send them to school. She was able to send them to university. She was able to secure also that needed income for the whole family. So Maria Pilar, it's one example of thousands of examples we have out there. We have women that they are in charge of their kids. They don't have a partner, and they have to build something to secure that needed income for the family, and they have been able to do so. They have been able to actually develop the business as Maria Pilar from scratch, and they have been able to keep up with covering all the very basic needs of their own family. So we have beautiful stories out there, and one of the things I enjoy the most is when I get to go to the territories, to the different countries where we have operations, where we have beneficiaries, and I get to know the stories firsthand from them.
Thank you, Carmen. Just to let the audience know, the countries that Pro Mujer serves are Mexico, Uruguay, Buenos Aires, Argentina, right?
No, it's actually the countries. We reach 23 countries in Latin America through different platforms and different services we provide online. We have physical presence in 5 countries. Those are Bolivia, where we were born. In Bolivia, we have 50 offices. We have operations in Argentina, in Mexico, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. I'm in Europe, but I travel. I'm 1 week here and 1 week abroad. My family lives here, but it's very little what we are doing in Uruguay. Basically, what we do is give access to the platform Emprende Pro Mujer.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying. I see 2 more persons who have raised their hands. I have Carmen Lamut raise her hand. Go ahead.
Happy to share a name with you, Carmen.
Yes.
The same.
I'm wondering about your personal experience with gender bias as you were developing as a woman leader in Latin America. What were the bigger challenges years ago? How have you seen that change? And do you feel there's still a glass ceiling? What challenges do you face now? What has improved?
I think things have improved over the years. As I said, I have more than 30 years of experience. When I started working, and this was the year 1987, I believe, more or less, and my first two bosses were women. I think that made a huge change in me because they were women. They were very strong women. They were facing challenges every day, as we may have faced. Each of you have to face every day. But basically, they never lose they keep being a woman. They were very, very keen on taking decisions, on confronting challenges, but basically they were very empathetic. They were also trying to support younger women. And that for me, it was a huge opportunity because I never felt kind of those biases that you usually find. And let me tell you, you will find everything. The crystal ceilings, the floors that don't allow you to move much farther than you are. You have everything is there, but basically it's also how you manage those situations, how you basically as a woman participate in different spaces. We have to believe in ourselves. We are very well prepared. It's something that I'm always stating to every woman. It's that we are very well prepared to confront any situation. And basically what we have to show is that when we have diverse teams, when we have more women in leadership positions, the company will have better results. The company will keep innovating. So if you are not using the 50% of the population that those are the women, and you are losing part of that benefit. So it's something that, of course, you have in some cases, especially in some sectors, STEMs like science, technology, you will find less women. We have to raise our voice. In some cases, we have to give women more visibility. And that is, I think, one of the things we are trying to also be working on giving more visibility to women leaders that can actually be motivating the new generations, that can actually show that everybody can be occupying a certain position in a sector that in many cases we associate with men.
Thank you for that.
Juan, I see you are raising your hand. Yes.
First, Carmen, thank you so much for being here, sharing your story and the impact you guys are achieving. Related to the topic of presence in the Latin America, sounds like you guys had a huge impact. I wonder how Puerto Rico plays into that, whether you actually provide services here, or even what is the perspective, right? If you look into Puerto Rico, I don't know how much familiar you are with the island and anything here, but I suspect you may have some information. But I'd like to hear your thoughts around Puerto Rico and how Puerto Rico meets or matches, what you guys are doing.
Yes, of course. And thank you for that question. The former president of the board of Pro Mujer, and until December of this past year, she is from Puerto Rico originally. So it's interesting. The thing is that we usually concentrate most of our efforts where there is more inequality, where there is a much bigger need. If you get to see the countries where we are working in, those are the countries where you see much more need. Puerto Rico, basically, it's not one of the countries we are working beyond using and giving access to the platform Emprende Pro Mujer, we are not doing much. And we look very much forward to identify partners with whom we can be working in Puerto Rico. But yeah, to be honest with you, until now, we have concentrated much on those countries with more needs than Puerto Rico. It's not that there is not a need, but it's like in Uruguay. Our countries that are much better if you put them in a ranking, are much better than other countries in Latin America.
Got it. And thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Carmen. Carmen, we have 5 minutes left. So let me just do something here. I'm going to ask you a set of rapid or fire questions. So these are questions. Are you related to the concept?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to run through that. They are going to be 5 questions. And then after that, we are going to be wrapping up with some inspiration, right? That we would like to share with the audience. So first question is to fill the blank. So fill the blank for me. Gratitude is?
Gratitude is... Oh, that is difficult, Sai.
First part.
Gratitude is being in the position where I am.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
The last book that you read and loved?
Oh, the last book was 5 a.m. in the morning. It was, it's the name exactly is The Club of the 5 a.m.
Okay. Something special on your desk?
On my desk, el mate.
So that's the tea for those in the audience that maybe do not know what the mate is. Okay. And then a snapshot of an ordinary moment could be part of your routine in your life that gives you true joy.
The 7 a.m. The gym. Every day I go to the gym at 7 a.m. It's my time.
Okay.
And the other moment is dinner with the family. Those are my true moments of the day.
Perfect.
Yeah, my best moment.
Thank you for sharing that. And Carmen, before we let you go, what advice would you give to people in tech like us, right, who want to make a meaningful impact out there, and maybe we don't know where to go, where to start? What would be those words of advice?
I think that no matter if you are in tech, if you are whatever sector or where you are, the thing is that each one of us as persons, we can make a change and we can actually work for a change. I think that everybody here who is participating in this conversation, it's in a privileged position. We have a job, we don't have our basic needs are covered. Of course, you can ask for more, but the thing is that we are in a position where we can push for changes, where we can make a difference, when we can basically show how others can help us in promoting change. And I think we have a responsibility. So the responsibility is to think from where I am, what I can do to actually improve the lives of others or to basically improve the environment or the ecosystem itself. So it's how we can, sometimes with very small things, how we can make a change.